It's about 10 o'clock. I'm wide awake. I got a nice amount of sleep. I had a dream about going to the show last night, hitchhiking there. So I'm thinking that I'm going to do it. Even the back route through Canton requires about a 2-hour walk. So if I'm going to do this, the way I'll have to do it is I'll have to like get to the drop-off point before 5 because the sun's down before 7, meaning that if I do end up having to walk it, it's a less than 2-hour walk, and I'll be able to get there before the sun comes down. I don't mind walking down the road during the day, right? It looks like a busy road, so the chances of getting eaten by a cougar are maybe a little bit lower. The flip side of that is that I may want to see if I can find a truck stop. I bet a trucker will give me a lift from, I guess it's just south of Westland, out to the the outskirts of Ypsilanti. If that's a trucker road, right? So I'll take a look at that too, see if I can find truck stops. But the dream has got me going. If I'm hitching, then I'm not looking pretty. I'll have to show up looking a little rough. I have found a truck stop, although it's off the it's off the segregation lane. So it might be designed for people to get off and then back on, but if anybody's moving in that direction, that's probably my best. Okay, back in the regular focus. Okay, I am going to the show tonight, which means that I need to catch the 2:30 tunnel bus to catch the 3 o'clock bus out to the smart limits, or the limits of suburban Detroit. Hitchhike into Ypsilanti, take a bus from Ypsilanti to the center of Ypsilanti, and then take another bus from Ypsilanti to Ann Arbor. So I'm looking at 4 buses with 3 different pay structures and about a 5 mile hitchhiking track in between. I'm giving myself a lot of time. It's partly due to the schedules, because if I don't catch the 3 o'clock bus, I won't be able to catch the next one until like 4:30 or something. So, and that's it might be okay, but it's kind of cutting myself a little thin. So it makes more sense to leave earlier, and if I get there early, I'll get a coffee or something. I have found an all-night restaurant, which is good because the buses don't leave again until 8:30 in the morning. I'm not talking about the tunnel bus. I'm talking about the bus out of Ann Arbor doesn't start running until 8:30 in the morning. It's Saturday, right? So I will need to catch the 8:30 bus from Ann Arbor to Ypsilanti, and then probably just walk down the road and hitch up from there. See, because there's a hitching aspect of this, I might not follow it exactly, right? I might hitch a little bit further, so I might hitch right to the transit center, and then or when I get off, I might just start walking and all these kinds of things, right? But I'm planning to be home around noon tomorrow. Yeah, so that's a long trip, and it is slightly insane. Before I do this, I want to indicate that I'm not sure that I call myself exactly an experienced hitchhiker, but I have hitchhiked before. I hitchhiked all the way across the country once. I hitchhiked from Ottawa to Windsor to actually look at this place. It was a relatively fun trip. Started off in Ottawa, went down through Toronto, and then out from Toronto to Windsor. It took I spent the night at McDonald's in Toronto, and one would expect that if you're going that kind of a distance, right? So I've done these kinds of things before. That doesn't make it any less dangerous. Um, but you have to keep in mind here that I'm only hitchhiking for 5 miles, right? And in fact, the reason I'm giving myself all of this time is because I'm preparing for the possibility that I might just walk. It'll take a little more than an hour to walk. I might just do that. And in fact, if it wasn't through countrysides and my fear of cougars, I would just have no second thought about walking. The other thing I have to point out is that I know there's a truck stop. And I will stop at the truck stop and ask around. I know because I've done enough hitching that it's the smart approach, right? Again, you don't want to be there all day. I'm going to give myself lots of time because I am preparing to walk. But if this works out well, that would be the way that it'll happen, is that I'll hop, or I'll walk down to the truck stop. Somebody will give me a lift from there to the transit center in Ypsilanti, and then still a bus, right? So I'm really explaining the worst case scenario. The weather could be a little nicer. At the high today is around 10. It'll hit around 0 overnight, but it'll warm up quickly in the morning. So I'm not really that. I mean, I'll bring a couple sweaters. I'm not going to be out all night like I was at the Skinny Puppy show. I'll be inside because I know that there is an all-night diner there. So that's, that's a big positive. To go in and drink coffee well, if I get there at 2:30, great. Other possibilities, of course, I could always bump into somebody that's driving back from the Blind Pig to Detroit. So yeah, that's how I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? Well, obviously I want you to see the show. That's the biggest reason I'm doing this. I also want to document how ridiculous what I'm about to do is. Because I'm not going to put it up on the internet, and then the whole world can see how impossible it is, and what one has to do to get from Detroit to Ypsilanti through public transportation, when it would be simple enough to just run a bus. Even if you only run it a few times a day, just run the stupid bus, right? It's not further than Pontiac, and the Pontiac bus runs fairly smoothly from what I can see. So, it's clear as day that it's a segregation policy. It's racist, and the only way you get rid of something like that is you expose it, right? So, I'm a nice white kid from Canada. I'm not a kid anymore, but I can be a nice white kid from Canada for the purposes of this demonstration. And we're going to see what it's like to try to take the public transportation system to Ann Arbor, which is, by anyone's estimation, a part of the greater Detroit metropolitan area. I'm not going to a different city. This is a suburb of Detroit. So, I gotta catch. It's a little bit before noon now. I gotta catch the 2:30 bus across. I don't really have anything to do except brush my teeth. So I'm just gonna be screwing around for a bit, but take a deep breath. This is going to be a bit of a ride. Actually, I just want to stress another point. You know how you see in movies, when people go hitchhiking, you see the girl and she'll hike her skirt up, and it's actually really disturbing if you've ever gone hitchhiking. You don't want to do that ever. Okay, trust me on this. This isn't make believe hitchhiking. I'm actually really gonna go on the side of the road and put my thumb out, and I'm really gonna let some strangers pick me up in their cars and drive me down the road. And you don't. I know it's a funny joke in the movies and everything if you think that's funny, but that's not something you ever want to do. Regardless of what layer of femininities you express, okay? I've been in situations where I've been picked up by creepy guys, and they want to make a move. Without putting my skirt up, just getting picked up. and you don't want to advertise that unless you actually are. See, here's the thing that these movies that throw this joke in seem to somehow miss. Okay, prostitutes are actual real people. Prostitutes actually exist. Okay, and people do actually go and pick people up on the side of the road and then go have sex with them somewhere for money. Okay, so when you do something like that, it's not just this make-believe fantasy thing. Oh, look, I'm pretending to... No, you're standing on the side of the road and you're advertising that you're selling yourself. And if you're not going to put out, then you're putting yourself into some trouble. Okay, so you don't ever want to do anything like that. If you're going to go hitchhiking, and you're really just hitchhiking, you're not, you're not working. You actually want to go out of your way to minimize any kind of sexual advertising, because if you advertise it, then people will buy it, and if it turns out it's not for sale, then they might get mad, and then you're putting yourself into a bad situation. Okay. I don't want to have this discussion about whose fault it is. I'm just saying don't do it. Okay. Just if you don't do it, then you don't have to have the discussion about whose fault it is. Right. So I just want to stress that point. So I'm not going to. I mentioned this a few times. I'm not going to go to this show looking very pretty because of the hitchhiking thing. In fact, I'm not even bringing my headphones because I'm taking a new bus ride that I've never taken before, and I don't really know how safe it is. Right? I'm going to be wearing kind of junkier clothes. I'm not even going to shave, and I'm doing that specifically on purpose, so that if anybody picks me up, they can see, okay, there's a little bit of stubble there. It's the one part of having facial hair that is still a positive, net positive. Everything else about this sucks, but that particular aspect, if I need to go hitchhiking, it gives me a little bit of privilege in terms of my safety. And, I've explained this in a few other contexts. I don't want to throw that away for, let's be less safe. Let's put myself in a more dangerous situation. That's what I'm all about, just so that everything is more fair. I kind of prefer to look at it the other way. Maybe it should be that people should be able to get from A to B without having to worry about getting assaulted. But as it is, if I can put myself in a less of a situation, then I think I'll take that option. This is the truth of it. It doesn't really think of it like a Bronte trick. I'm pretending to be a dude for a couple of hours to get ahead a little. This wouldn't be the first woman that's ever pretended to be a dude to get ahead. But I really just wanted to put that, to really stress that point. Okay. I've done a fair amount of pitching. I've come out of it okay. I've had more people yell at me that I'm being unsafe than I've had situations that are unsafe, but I have been in a few bad situations. I know how to get out of them. But the whole, let's look sexy on the side of the road so that I get picked up quicker, no. Unless you are working or you're willing to put your safety and risk in jeopardy. You want to tone that down and just make it look like I'm trying to get from A to B, man. Give me a hand to help me out here. That's what it's gonna be. Okay, so don't do that. If you do this at all, don't do that. A little bit of water on the counter from an unknown source. This turned out to be a little bit unnecessary. I could have just used the cloth, but I didn't really know where it was coming from. Did that, and it's going in there. I also got through the short salami, and that's the end of that. Well, there we go. Let's hope I don't get killed. Again, I'm doing this for the vlog more than anything else. I really think that this is gonna be a trip. Let's try it out. I am on the tunnel bus. On the way through the tunnel into customs, and getting ready to go. Another Greyhound bus, but they actually let us through first, thank God. I think there's one more person coming on, so Looks like I will catch this bus. If I were to miss this bus, I'd basically have to just turn around and come back. So I hope this comes through. And there's my shots of Detroit in the day. This is the first time I think that we've gotten any shots of Detroit in the day. I got a few hours today, and I guess I'll be in town most of the day tomorrow. So I'll have that as well. This is the bus stop, which I will take. It's a 2-hour bus ride, so I'll be on there for quite a while. I think I have about 20 minutes for it to come, and I'm gonna sit and quietly wait for it. I am still in right downtown Detroit here, but I just caught the 200, which is going to take me way out to the line that separates where you're allowed to take the bus and where you're not allowed to take the bus, and I'll have to figure it out from there. Yeah, so it's gonna take me like a block from the freeway, and then I'll have to figure it out from there. But I actually am crazy enough to be doing this. So hey, great. I've now made it to Dearborn. There's a city on the way there. I'm out of Dearborn, which was actually a pretty lengthy ride, into Westland, which I believe is the last stop on this bus. It's going to drop me off somewhere on Westland city limits, and I'm going to need to find a way. I need to find a way through Canton. That's basically the reality of it, is I think. Nope, there's another town here. It's Wayne. I am now in Wayne, Michigan. I suppose it's Wayne County. Makes sense, huh? As far as I know, it just goes up a little bit further and then like literally turns around. So we'll see how that goes. Well, I'm here at the end of the Greater Metro Detroit bus service. Where I want to go is about 6 miles that way. It's not that far. I've got a truck stop here. If I walk a little more than a kilometer, which is, about a quarter of the way. Well, a sixth of the way, anyways. More than a sixth of the way. I will walk by McDonald's and a truck stop. But I'm going to try this here, see if there's a bathroom here at the very least, before I get going. It would make sense for me to just go ahead and throw my thumb out and hope I catch something, and then maybe take a stop, wait a little bit longer when I get to the gas station up around the corner. This looks more like I couldn't see why anyone would stop here, if you were like a big rig or something. This is the word escapes me. It's a regular person stop. Yeah, I should be running. Hard to see with the glare. So yeah, it's about 4:30. And I'm just about to start hitching here. Like I say, it's about a 5-minute drive down the road. Like literally, that's it. It's just one of those situations where it's like it's 5 minutes, like, but you're on a highway, right? So you're moving pretty good. If you can find someone to stop, you'll be there in no time. Otherwise, it's like a 2-hour walk, right? I'll do it faster than that, but it's not a short walk, right? So, I've given myself lots of time, meaning that, well, what I did was I gave myself lots of time to prepare for the worst case scenario of needing to walk the whole way. So if I catch, it's like I say, it's 4:30 now. If I catch the bus pretty much right away, I could be in Ypsilanti by 5, right? If I end up walking off the way, I could be in Ypsilanti. I could walk there by 7, right? So that's the key. Is I wanted to be early enough that I could walk it if I had to,
and early enough that I'm not going to lose the sun. Right, so I'm pretty sure that like it's sidewalk for a good way. That's the other thing, right? Like it's not forest. Like this is suburban, right? So I don't know. I think it switches over when I get to the other side of the highway, which, like I say, is about a fifth of the way there. So, we'll find out. I'm going to put this away, but I am in fact on Michigan Road, outside of Wayne, outside of the town of Wayne, at the historic town of Wayne, about 5 miles out of Ypsilanti, and trying to get there. That's just some proof that I am in fact in Canton. Canton, Michigan. Canton, Detroit. Not some other Canton. But yeah, that's where I am. And that's the city that has the problem. There is the freeway, and judging by the distance on the map, I'd say that is at least a fifth of the way there. This is really, you know what this is? This is really a lot of evidence that I need a bicycle. If I could have brought my bicycle on the front of the bus, got off, a 5-mile bicycle ride, that's nothing, right? So, anyways, I still got sidewalk here and I still got sunlight, so I'm just going to keep walking and see what happens. Obviously, if one has a choice between walking and hitchhiking, one should walk. It's just, I think that choice will eliminate itself when I get on the other side of this freeway here. So as I expected, the sidewalk completely cleared out. As soon as I got to the freeway there, it seemingly engineered to make what's the word I'm looking for here? To provide a disincentive to not cross the highway. So do I feel whiter? Not really. I've always felt pretty white. I'm not sure how I could feel much whiter. I like Pink Floyd, for fuck's sake. Anyways, I gotta cross this here. There are trucks floating around here, which is good. That's what I wanted to see. I see no lights, but I'm gonna go ahead and cross here. Some more evidence that no one really wanted you to do that. I will say this though, there's a trail here, and it seems to run along both sides. I'll see if that opens up a little bit. I want to get to the other side of this gas station because I suspect that's how that's going to work. The sign there of the things that are around in Canton, which is not where I am, which seems to have no bus service whatsoever. So, fuck you, Canton, for existing right between where I am and where I want to be. You're 5 miles. That's probably closer to 4 miles now of utter annoyance. Yeah, I've gone over at least a mile, maybe 2. Is there a sidewalk on the other side? It would be nice if there was. Anyways, I think I require more of my attention, so I'm going to put this away, but that's the truck stop I want to get to the other side of before I decide if it's time to hitch or not. I'm going to guess it's around 5, meaning I've got at least an hour of sun. Should be more than enough time to catch a 4-mile hitch up the road. There was a South Asian dude that stopped, but he was only on a block, and a sidewalk reappeared. So, we'll see how that goes. I also thought that was a cop, which, I really don't know what a cop would do if they found you hitchhiking, but you probably don't want to find out. So, that's another little tip if you're hitchhiking. You might think it's a good idea to see, hey, it's a cop, maybe I'll ask. a nice friendly police officer to give me it now. If you're white, you might avoid getting hurt, but you probably won't avoid a ticket. So, has my sidewalk disappeared again? It appears it has. Yeah, that was weird. There's one on the other side. I don't like the angle of the sun there. I want to get across sooner rather than later. So, I did get a quick bite. It's just it was not where I'm going. So, he claimed it was far. I think his definition of far needs a little bit of revising. Anyways, I'm getting my thumb back out. Okay, so as I expected, I got a quick ride up Michigan to Ypsilanti. I'm at the bus station here. I don't even think it's 5:30, so I'm very early. All is going according to plan. Made the bus, got propositioned, and I'm on the way. I turned it down, and I'm on the way to Ann Arbor. Can we see that that's the east? I'm sorry, that's the Ann Arbor District Library. I have reached my destination. It's about 6 o'clock. I've got 3 hours before the show starts. It's easy to say I wish I had left earlier, but I beat the sun, and I'm here. I got lucky with the hitch. I should not. I could have been out there waiting for an hour, right? So that is how it is. I gotta find a place. They're probably not even open. If they are open, I guess I'll probably stop and get something to eat. One way or the other, I should probably stop and get something to eat. Yeah. Where the hell am I? I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Here to see a tortoise show. So I've done myself up a map here. I got off the bus here, walked up there. I'm somewhere over here. I gotta get over here, make sure I know where the place is, make sure I know where I'm staying for the night. I might drop by there a little later, depending on how late the show goes. Probably not, but we'll find out. And then I'm using the washroom here, so I might come back here to get something to eat. It looks maybe a little fancy though. It was just the first place I saw. We'll find out once I get to where I'm going first. There's my all-night diner. Back there in a few hours. There's my destination. There's no restaurant here or anything. It's closed till 9. That might be the legendary drummer from Tortoise warming up. I'm not going to sit around and do sound check. I'm not that pathetic. Instead, I'm going to go get something to eat. I'm going to avoid the diner that I'll be at. See if I can get something a little bit nicer than that. Although I don't want to spend too much. So let me take a walk and see what I can come up with. So you learn something when you go somewhere without... Like I said, I'm here a lot earlier than I was planning on being, and it seems like everywhere up and down here seems to require a reservation, so or a lengthy wait, which I'm not really interested in either. So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep shuttling around and see if I can find something that will allow me to just walk in and order a burger and a beer. That's the I don't eat out much, but that's whenever I do, it's always on a burger because I just don't. I refuse to allow uncooked meat inside the house, so it's kind of a consistent craving for that. Maybe I'll hit the diner. Maybe that's my option, huh? So I ended up in the initial restaurant just because I could walk in there. It's kind of like, it's kind of fancy, certainly a lot fancier than anywhere I'd normally go. I was able to get something reasonably priced anyways, looking at the menu. I got a few hours, the show starts at 9. Maybe I'll have another beer when I'm done, and then I'll be out of here. It's some kind of flatbread here. I had to make sure that I wasn't going to get charged for that. See, this is like, I'm like classic white trash, but anyways, it's something like pate sauce. It's actually quite good. Actually quite good, so I'm surprised, right? But it's a little different than what I normally used to getting at this kind of a, it's kind of got like a, excuse me, like an olive-y kind of taste to it. It's quite good. salad. And they had some weird name for this, but where I come from, this is called poutine. Basically. So it's about 7:30, and that cost me $20. That was my contingency 20, for what it's worth. And this was no contingency, but I mean, I got an hour to finish my beer, and you know, what do you do, right? I guess the other option was I could have sat outside for the last 2 hours, and that's not. In a sense, it is contingency because it's a little too cold to sit outside. So, you can think of it like that, right? It, actually, it's fine. So it's 10 to 9, and it has definitely cooled down. Like I said, that was my contingency 20. Although, when you consider that I had a beer, it was more like 15 that I spent there, right? So I spent $10 on beer and $15 on food, which, I've spent more than $15 at Subway. So it really wasn't that bad. But like I say, I mean, it might not have seemed like a contingency, but at the same time, I could not have stayed outside all day. So I didn't get in. It wasn't the contingency I was worried about. The contingency I was worried about was getting stuck somewhere overnight. But that's still, it was still used the way it was intended. It was just used early instead. I got enough to get in. I got enough to get a couple beers. I got enough to get a coffee afterwards. Like I said, it was contingency, so it's all good. Hopefully I'm not waiting outside too long. Like I say, it's about 10 to 9. Doors are supposed to be at 9. We'll see how that works out. Inside the Blind Pig, and it is downstairs bathroom. Shades of the Dom. Of all the things you could give to drunk people, I mean, just think of all of the things that you could give to drunk people. Would a pointed metal projectile that you throw at the wall be near the top of the list of things that you would give to drunk people? I've never quite understood this, and nonetheless it persists. So the show is done, and I'm at the place where I will be hanging out for the next 6 to 7 hours, and it is crazy busy. So I would presume that this crazy busy will not last too long. I'll wait until it dies down a little bit before I get a coffee. How was the show? I didn't get any footage. The reason I didn't take any footage was because I noticed that there were some other people taking footage on higher quality recording devices, and that's fine. I don't really need people in the shot here. Okay, so we're gonna look at the corner here for a bit, and that's fine. So I didn't take any footage for that reason. I've done this before. I'm quite confident that better quality footage will come up. So the first act would have been hard to capture in that sort of context anyways. It was something you had to feel. It was enjoyable. Maybe a little bit... Actually, I can't even say that. Normally I would criticize something like that as being a little bit too stripped down, but it wasn't. It was a proper middle point. There were some points where the structural integrity of the building started to bother me, but that's my own paranoia. That's something that's come up in multiple situations that will come up multiple times again. But you're not going to get anything out of watching it, on a computer screen. You kind of have to feel it. So there's a little point for that. The band I went to see though was it's a band that's often tied to a specific period, and what they did during that period is remarkable. But it seemed to me that the blunt reality is probably that nobody remembers how to play that material, if they ever really took the time to learn how to play it at all, kind of thing. And that is the nature of jazz, right? It's you do something in a short amount of time, and then you forget it, and then you move on to the next thing. Um, what I'm trying to say is that when they did do some of the older material, it seemed lost. Um, they were a little bit more on for the newer material, but it's not the same level of writing, right? So it's um, maybe a cause for caution. Maybe seeing Tortoise on this particular tour, you should realize that they're playing mostly newer material. And if you are interested in the classic period, you might be a little bit lost when you get to the show. But was it any good? It was enjoyable. I mean, it's not. It's just not at the same level. That's all. It focused on. See, it's funny because I had a conversation with somebody on the way in, and they mentioned that they heard that this was a band that sounded a lot like King Crimson. And I said, well, that was something that, came up early in their career, and it was a lot of lazy journalism and da-da-da-da. It turns out that the show sounded a lot like King Crimson. So the newer material actually, I don't know what happened somewhere in between. It's almost as though they said, okay, if you're going to do all this lazy journalism and say we sound like this, then we will. Because it did. And, if you're a fan of the classic Tortoise period, you would have never picked that out. You would have never really honestly said that, unless you really didn't know much about, the classic Crimson period. So, but I mean, that's what it was. It had there were periods where they seemed intent on, going through like doom rock memes and that sort of thing, right? So, I mean, it's, like I say, maybe not what you're expecting, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It was just different, right? So you got to be. I would suggest that you listen to their new records before you decide to go see them, because it might not be what you're expecting if you're just basing it on the old stuff. I did enjoy it. I do wish I would have played a little, a few more older tunes, but I'm not really going to complain about it. It's just what it was. So it's still crazy busy here. I don't know what time it is, like 2:15 or something. So I'm going to put this away and see if I can get some coffee. So it's a little after 2:30 and this place is still just packed. I suppose it's probably the only thing open right now, so because of that, it gets everything. But it's funny, because the place is just cram-packed full of people having breakfast. Kind of missing the point. You're supposed to get the breakfast when you're out all night, when it's 5 o'clock in the morning. The bars haven't even closed yet, or maybe they have now, but it's like kind of missing the point, guys. I'm gonna be here all night, so like whatever. But it's
2 Euro hippies, hash browns, mini hippie, and a.
No doubt just a consequence of the fact that it's the only thing that's open at the moment. This is definitely the weirdest diner I've ever hung out in. If you listen carefully, you can see it's like dead voices on air or something, some kind of ambient music that's just like on loop. You got the waitresses are doing their job, and it's a stressful job. They're not always happy about it. I wouldn't be either. You got people yelling about Pokemons. It's a very strange place. I got a few more hours here, anyways. Maybe I'll get some eggs. I don't know. We'll find out. Somebody decided to buy me breakfast. I don't know if I look that bad. I don't think I do. I think it was more of a random act of kindness kind of thing. So I should just say thank you. It's I think close to 5. Bus is a little after 8, so I still got ways to go. But I'm getting the the early morning wind, so I'm a little more awake. So this is good. So I am at the bus station in Ann Arbor. I'm actually fairly alert, which is good. The temperature is about to come up, even though it is a little chilly out there right now.
it's one of those nights where, if it would have been, extra 5 degrees warmer, 5 or 6 degrees warmer, it would have been actually quite pleasant, but it's just kind of cold. So, but I mean, like I say, it's gonna warm up pretty quick. So, the journey back will be with relatively good weather. I've got all day, so I don't have to worry about beating the sun. It's more just a question of maintaining alertness. I think I can do that. It's beyond, kind of a sobriety alertness. It's a caffeine alertness. So this is a positive, a good safety note. It's about 8:15. I can feel the temperature come up already, and I am getting on the bus out of Ann Arbor, beginning the trek back. Now back in Ypsilanti, I gotta take the next bus out to the city limits and start all over again from there. So this is where I wanted to catch the bus yesterday, but the hitch I got took me all the way right to the transit center. So went back around the other way, and I will be back up. Walk through these things. It's pine cones, but doesn't always look like pine cones when they're pine cones. Anyways, this is the road I need to hitch from again. So I'm back to here. There's a gas station there even. Maybe I'll take a look to see if there's a trucker there. If there is, that would be very useful to me. But that's where I'm heading to. The temperature is, I'm gonna guess it's maybe around 7 degrees. So it is supposed to rapidly warm up over the next hour or so. So hopefully I start to feel that soon. For now, I'm gonna check the gas station here and find a good spot to try to hitch up from. I gotta cross the road too, so yeah. And that was the world's easiest hitchhike. I thought the one yesterday was easy, but this, I didn't even put my thumb out. I just got on the highway and I turned around and someone picked me up. It was like they were waiting for me. That was quite literally the easiest that I've ever had. I'm walking up to the road here. I need to check the schedule. I'm either going to catch the bus at the spot that I got off last time, which is up at the gas station a little bit up, or I'm going to have to take a little bit of a longer walk. I'm going to get to that spot, stop, check the schedule, and then go from there. It's just the way these buses work. Is that it's like every third bus or something, right? So if I happen to get there on an off-peak, it'll make more sense to walk up to the next stop, even if it's about a 10-minute walk up. So I don't think I'm more than 5 minutes from where I'm going. So this is ideal, and I think it's like 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's early. I'm making home before noon. At this rate, so this is great. That is the logo that I'm looking to see here. It means that I am back in the service area of the broader Detroit transit network. I need to take this to a shopping mall because it's Saturday, and the direct downtown service doesn't run on Saturday. I will then need to catch the 37 from there to Rosa Parks and then walk back down to the tunnel. So it's still some buzzing, but no more hitching anyways. That's good. This is what I mean about this about the bus system being obviously designed to prevent people from getting back and forth. Though. That's where the bus stops.
It's completely arbitrary, except for the fact that there's a gas station there. There's gas stations if you keep going. There's no particular reason why you need to stop at that gas station. There's not anything. Well, in fact, there's actually a mall if you go that way. Why wouldn't they stop at the mall? Right? That would make perfect sense. For the smart buses to stop at the mall, then arbor buses to pick people up at the mall. It would be a very simple, obvious, easy transit point, right? They don't want people doing that. It's it's obvious. Like it's just completely random in any way except that, this is as far as you're allowed to go, kind of thing. As you can see, I got through that, but hopefully I've drawn a little attention to it. We were able to see that, there's not really any good reason why the system shouldn't connect. But the coverage is good once you get over the highway, and the coverage is good on this side of the highway. It's just there's a gap in between. And as mentioned, the mall is the thing that makes the most sense. If you want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, they're not racist, they can't be racist, nobody's racist anymore. If you want to play that game, it seems to be that it's the city of Canton that doesn't seem to want bus service through it. Maybe they don't want to tax their citizens. I hardly think it really works out to anything substantial. Maybe they do tax their, inhabitants. They just don't want to spend on it. That's probably their excuse, anyways. That's what the official reason is. But it's just that it's that municipality right in the middle. If that municipality would, play fair kind of thing, and allow for a bus station at that mall. Like literally, it's a big mall. There's a Walmart, and it's right there. It doesn't really make any sense from there is no lack of infrastructure. There's no reason it shouldn't work. It's just as clear as day that somebody doesn't want that to happen. Anyways, I got about 10 minutes I think before the bus gets here, so I'm gonna finish my thing, dude, and get back to waiting. I am indeed now on the bus, on the way to the mall there. Living in Detroit or outside Detroit, there's no deficit of reminders that this is a car town. This is one of many car plants that you will see if you drive down the main roads that stretch out of Detroit. Everybody knows this, but it's really heavy-handed when you actually see it. Anyways, yeah, I'm on the way home. This is good. There's some more Detroit during the day. Some buildings here. I haven't really done that. I was gone, well, I guess I caught the 3 o'clock bus. It is now just about 12, so I guess that would be 21 hours. Look. Well, it's gonna be 21 hours to get back. What time did I leave? I left about 1:45-ish. I should get back around 1, so it'll be just about an entire day, yeah. Detroit is actually pretty pleasant to walk through during the day. You just kind of have to realize it. I'm gonna go this way for a sec. So I'll have a chance to go upward some other time. Right now I'm going up here as well. You can see all these many buildings. I walked up here during night when it's dark and you can't see it, but that's it during the day. If I haven't at least convinced you of the sheer breadth of Detroit in terms of how far it sprawls out away from the river here. I mean, it is a very old and, previously a very wealthy place, so you do have these old, these old New York-like structures like this, right? I suspect that a lot of the city was built at the same time, and as I said, you never escape the ubiquitous name. It's Ford this, Ford that, everywhere you turn. That's nice, let's keep walking. I'm going to either just catch the bus or just miss it. It's one of those situations. Get more. The thing I was going to notice in Detroit is that the sewers just are, obviously it's releasing gas, they're all over the place. It's quite, it was one of the first things I noticed when I got over here, because I noticed I started coughing a lot. Like Canadian landlords used to that kind of shit. Alright, so like that's let's stop and pause and take a look at it for a second. Would you take that? Would you actually go across there? Was this it's the kind of thing you'll see in Detroit? Like if you look, there's that train that goes all around the city that most people don't know exists either. Just weird. What seem like architectural relics, something they got half done, or the city's full of that. Yeah, something that would have been high tech if it worked, kind of thing. This is like the worst intersection of all time. I've said that a few times myself. In fact, I can't cross. It's pretty good. Statues and stuff, and some kind of ring, I don't know. And there's a river and home back there. See Canada from Detroit side. Okay. Let's see if I can get across here. See, it sounds weird, but I'd rather cross in the red because at least I can see what's coming, right? If you've got all these people stopped, you never know when they're gonna go or what, right? I don't think I'm done. Let's hope I catch the bus. Oh, it's noon on a Saturday. That's what happens. I did end up waiting for the bus for a while. I didn't miss it. It's just everything is congested. So that's what it's like being stuck in the tunnel between Windsor and Detroit there. Finally, I'm not sure if they spun us around through a different out today because they're finally finished this, which they might be, finally, or if it's something to do with, oh, I see, or if it's something to do with the traffic, but came out differently today, and we'll see if that happens continually or not. I'm tempted to get a burger, but I should just go home and make a sandwich instead. For everyone's best interest. I am home and I did. We'll talk once I'm done eating. Well, let me point out that it is 1:30. I left around 1:30. Actually, I left earlier than that. Well, no, it was about 1:30, so that was a full 24-hour day. I woke up, it was like 10 o'clock yesterday. So, this is going to be a 2-day vlog. Like I said, I'm going to finish this, and then we'll have a talk about what I just did, and whether I'll ever do it again. So I got a nice poop out. I've brushed my teeth. And you can imagine that I don't really want to do much right now, but except to sleep, right? It's a good guess. It's a reasonable guess. But let's just talk about exactly what just happened here. I took a 3-hour trip to Ann Arbor, which included a section of hitchhiking. I stayed there for about 14 hours. I got on the bus and I came back another longer than 3-hour trip because I got stuck with the tunnel, which also included a hitchhiking section. I saw a concert that was alright. Was all of, and I spent a lot of money, or more than, I didn't spend a lot of money, but I spent more than I wanted to. Was all of this worth it? I don't know. What else am I gonna do? Alright, what else am I gonna do? Alright, so, I mean, I think I enjoyed parts of the night. It's the kind of thing that you have to try it before you can determine just how hardcore it really actually is. It would be nice if that hitchhiking stretch didn't exist. That's really the part that's going to cause me to question that trip again in the future. I got lucky twice. I shouldn't get cocky. I would be more likely to do that again if it was on a weekday, because the buses would run earlier. The flip side of that is that that means I'm out hitchhiking earlier. I don't want to be hitchhiking before 8 or so. Actually, even 8's not so bad. It's just that I don't want to be out before the sun is up and the dangerous animals are away. I got hissed at by something as I was walking through. I don't know what the hell it was, and I didn't stick around to find out. But that's, I mean, the biggest thing I'm worried about is not like weirdos picking me up when I'm hitchhiking. It's getting attacked by a cougar as I'm walking down the road. It's the reality. It is the truth. Okay, so but if I was going to do that for a band like Tortoise is one of the bands I would have done it for, because I've been I was a big Tortoise fan for a long time anyways. I haven't heard much of the new material. And as I mentioned, the show was, the new material, it's not that the new material is awful, it's just, it's down a notch, in terms of complexity, right? It
and maybe not even in terms of complexity, but just in terms of novelty. Um, I mean, they released 3 really good records in the night. Well, 2 in the '90s and 1 in the early 2000s. They did. They were really really good records. And what they've done since then has been disappointing. I'm sorry. It is the truth of it. I think part of it is I think that um, the drummer has become, or the percussion section has become a little bit too um, active. The, I'm not sure if it's one or the other or both, but the sound is being driven too much, um, and they kind of lost that kind of space. Um, there's also the issue of which guitarist is playing on which record, and these kinds of things as well, right? But I mentioned before that the impression I got was actually mostly that um, the records that I'm pulling out as being, brilliant, were haphazardly thrown together, um, more or less. Um, they are masterpieces, relative to what they are, but there might not have been much time really put into it, and they may have been forgotten very quickly. And so the people behind them want to focus on things that they know, things that they remember, things that are a little bit more important to them for that reason, right? So all these sorts of things to keep in mind if you're going to go see Tortoise. I would recommend seeing Tortoise today. Um, if you could find a time machine, I would highly recommend seeing them. 10 or 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But if you see them, I still would recommend seeing them. I would just go with a different set of expectations. They're not gonna, they're not gonna play Jet. Don't think they are. They're gonna play mostly material that is on their newer records that has a more. If it sounds like Crimson, it sounds like '90s Crimson. Power to Believe, Thrack, that kind of thing. Which is kind of nasty and dirty. You can tell that they picked it up and it might be trying to be current and all these other sorts of things. My battery's just about to die. It's about time, really. It hadn't gone before. I'm going to actually switch the battery. So yeah, am I happy I went? I am. Do I wish that the large amounts of time that I spent waiting both after and before the show, do I wish they were a little bit shorter? I do. And is that going to act as a disincentive on me going back out there? It might. Like I say, Tortoise is Tortoise. I think the next show that I might consider going to the Blind Pig is the Thermals. I would not go through that process for the Thermals. I'm not even sure I'd. Well, no, I'd probably go see the Thermals. I'd rather go see the Thermals a couple of years ago, but it's not a couple of years ago. Yeah. So I got one more show this month that is a necessity. That's Faust. Like I say, I spent a little bit more money than I wanted to, which is going to probably cut off a couple of the ifs later on in the month. But Faust, I can't miss Faust. That would be ridiculous. Faust is playing down the street. You think I'm going to miss that? I'm not. Sorry. So that's got to happen. I'm tired. I'd like to get to sleep. I hope that that was sufficiently insane enough for you to stamp something on my forehead. Maybe I'll wake up with a nice stamp on my forehead declaring me insane. That would be great. Or maybe you can just figuratively do something in your mind. I'll give you a visual. Because that was pretty crazy. The truth of it, it was. But it's not the first time I've done something crazy. It's not the last time I did something crazy. I am glad I went, despite the caveats, because you have to do something like that before you can learn. Had they not got it, I would have regretted